question I get quite a lot is this: how do you actually get started in private equity? This isn't theory, not the kind of Instagram influencers, not podcasts, although they can be helpful. How do you actually begin? Because buying businesses naturally sounds very exciting until you sit down and you realize you don't know what the first step is. And I've been there and I've experienced it. So in this video, I want to walk you through how I would approach getting started today if I was starting again, and what I would focus on first. Number one is mindset, but not in this kind of weird, fluffy way. You have to decide whether you see yourself as an operator or as an observer. From what I've seen so far on my journey is that it isn't passive, this buying businesses. We have to take a lot of responsibility in what we're doing. You're not just buying an asset, you're inheriting people, payroll, customers, and often there's a fair chunk of stress that comes with it. So the real starting point isn't spreadsheets as we tend to go to, it's actually identity. How do we identify? Do you genuinely want to own and operate businesses? Or is it just an idea? Do you just like the idea of it? Now, I understand that sometimes that can be quite an uncomfortable question, but it's really important. The level of commitment that it takes is extremely high. The level of rejection you're going to experience is extremely high. I mean, the amount of IMs I request from brokers and I get met with, unfortunately, I regret to advise you, after reviewing your interest, our client has declined to release the information. Due to confidentiality, we're unable to release the reason for why that is. And I get it, but some feedback, and this is why I talk about rejection, but from my perspective, from brokers, if you're listening, I understand, but some feedback would be good, and it would just give an idea of where we're going rather than just putting barriers up. And as a buyer, we're aware that it's a quantity game, and I'm pretty confident that as sellers, they also probably understand to some level that is also necessary for them, because from my perspective, I'm a serious buyer. So coming back to mindset identity is key, and I would say that is a huge thing to help us show up and actually buy a business. The second thing I would do is I would dedicate a fixed proportion of my time during the week. And this isn't something that I've seen I can just dip into when I feel like it. And if you've got a job, a family, maybe some other commitments, then I understand. But it's deciding, what am I going to do to make sure I move forward with this? Is it 2 evenings a week? Is it Saturday mornings? A certain amount of hours minimum, like 5 hours? Because I've seen that consistency beats intensity. You don't need to do 40 hours a week, but you definitely need structured time. And I remember hearing a quote, and it was, if I do not schedule my day with high value, high priority activities, then my day will get filled for me with low value, low priority distractions. And it really stuck with me because this acquisition side of things is a high priority for me. So I now schedule hard. So that's the second thing I do. I would schedule all the time that I need to put in to make sure I get it done. Third thing is, I think it's helpful to get clear on a long-term goal. Now for me, as you know from this channel, it's 10 acquisitions. Now, it doesn't have to be that this number is this magic number, but what it does is it gives me direction. Without a target, I've seen myself drift, and I'm sure you'll feel the same as well. But with a target, decisions become a lot easier. You start asking, does this action, does this move, does this take me towards what I want? And each morning at the moment, I listen to a YouTube video about visions and setting sights high, and it reminds me of the benefit of this. So set that goal, set that audacious long-term goal, and have that in mind every single day. Number 4 is I would break that long-term, big, audacious goal into medium-term goals. For example, it could be speak to 50 brokers in 6 months. It could be analyze 20 businesses, go and submit valuations 5 times, get to X amount of heads of terms, complete on a business by August 2026. Because when you do that, it creates momentum. And from my perspective, momentum matters. Private equity isn't about waiting for the perfect deal. It's about building deal flow. And even if I set the goal and I don't quite hit it, it gives me feedback. So I'd rather set a goal and strive for it, learn, shift my identity, and then maybe fall short ever so slightly, than to not set a goal, completely miss the mark, and that's because I didn't set and have a focus that I needed to work towards. So it's really important, I would say, to have long-term but also medium. So number 5 is pick industries that you want to explore. So you don't need to know everything, but you do need kind of a focus to say, this is the industry I'm moving into. So pick maybe 1 to 3 industries that you're happy to explore and lean into those as much as possible. Learn how they make money, what drives the margins within that industry, what risks there are, because there will be risk in any industry you go into, and who you want to be targeting when it comes to sellers. Because I find that when you create depth, it creates confidence. And there'll be plenty of experts out there that say experience in a sector is important. So if you haven't got experience in a sector, then don't go for it. But I'd like to look at the skills that I have within myself and my business partner, and can these have a positive impact on the business and the industry regardless of whether I have experience in it. So for us, it's about making sure we build a team around us that knows what we don't know. So we will always strive to learn as much as we can about an industry, but if it's not something we have too much experience in, I still believe that the skills we have can add benefit, and I can bring people in to support the experience if needed, and it's not going to stop me from exploring an industry that maybe I don't have a huge amount of experience in. So yes, an industry you have experience in is important and it can be great, but I wouldn't say it's the be all and end all, and I'd explore any industry really if you feel you can have a positive impact. Number 6 is learn how deal structures work. You don't need to be a lawyer, but you do need to understand structure. So things like seller finance, earnouts, asset purchases versus share purchases, really important. Working capital adjustments, consult for equity. There's so many different structures out there. And as cheesy as this sounds, for me, structure is what turns the impossible into possible. Most people will look at a business and say, oh, it's too much, I can't afford that. Whereas someone like myself, my business partner, and all the guys I'm speaking to at the moment say, how could this be structured to work for the seller and for me? And you may be surprised at how many creative ways there are out there to structure a deal. Number 7 is build relationships really early. So start speaking with brokers as early as you can, even before you're fully ready. Introduce yourself, got to kind of say what your journey is, be honest with where you are, ask questions, ask so many questions it sounds ridiculous. Because when you start to build that network and that relationship, reputation starts to build, and that compounds over time. So something I do is I go onto LinkedIn, I look for people that are doing something similar. I joined a program with like-minded people. I've got myself a business partner who obviously is of the same thinking. I ask, like I said earlier, tons of questions. It's something I do all the time. Hopefully I don't annoy too many people. I'm sure they'd tell me. I go to networking if I want to. It's something that I do every now and then. I definitely recommend that. And something I've done in the past is I've noted down all the people that I know past and present that I want to continue to nurture the relationship with. I ask myself, can I add value to them? And vice versa. And because ultimately they might know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and it's often the way that things move forward. So build a relationship is really important. And number 8 is start analysing deals like now. So you don't need to necessarily buy the first, but you do need to, I would say, and just from my experience, take it if you want it, is practice. Look at listings. Find the accounts if you can. Look at the EBITDA, understand what the EBITDA is. Stress test the cash flow of the business, because clarity comes from repetition. So the more you repeat it, the more clarity you'll have and more confidence you have. You can go onto Companies House and you can start to look at the accounts there. I found that a lot of them are quite limited, but it still helps to look and understand the numbers and see what this business is about. Something I did was look at smaller businesses and analyse the data, the numbers, the staff, if any, the growth potential, any bottlenecks they had, and so on. And it built my confidence, because what it did is it provided me with information, and that's invaluable when you start to go for the bigger deals. And number 9, accept that most deals probably aren't going to close. If you're getting started, something that I really stand by is understand really early that most deals won't complete. Try not to see that as failure. It's just filtering down what's working and what isn't working and creating feedback. And they are basically the things that I would do. So if I was starting again, I'd focus on less on the excitement and more on the structure. I get excited, but really focus on the structure. Identity, time, the target industries, the focus, the deal flow, the relationships, and understand that it can be fast, but most of the time buying a business in private equity isn't fast. It's just something very deliberate. You have to do the things deliberately. And if you treat it that way from the beginning, you'll give yourself a much higher chance of actually closing on a deal that works for you and for the seller. And if you're thinking about getting started, I would say start small, but start properly. I hope you like the video. If you want to like and subscribe, then please do. If you know anyone that might benefit, then share away. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear what you would say to anyone that is starting out on it, especially those guys that are out there that are experienced or extremely experienced. Pop it in the comments, and I'm sure people would get a lot of value from that.